Hello, my angels, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop overthinking, how to stop that negative chitter chatter, because this is something I used to struggle with a lot. I used to overthink everything, think about everything all the time, past things, future things, and this can put us emotionally in a really distressing place, in a really bad place. So I have written down a few things to hopefully help you to stop that negative chitter chatter, or help you navigate that overthinking and those thoughts. So we have to release control, basically. We have to let go of control of things, because no matter how much you overthink something, no matter how much you dwell on something, we can't change it, right? So, and sometimes we can change it, and if we can, then we will. But thinking about something over and over again isn't going to change something. But what you can do is you can change the way that you feel and the way that you think, because you are not your thoughts, you create them. Which brings me to the first thing I want to talk about. It's the mindset. And usually we go through various different experiences in life which instill different thoughts within us, and then as we continue to walk through life, we can be triggered, and it can bring up, without us even realizing it, past feelings, past experiences, which will bring all these thoughts to the surface and make us overthink and overthink and overthink. So it is completely normal that at times we can be triggered and overthink something and dwell on things. But the way that you remove that is you acknowledge and you recognize those thoughts and where they come from. Now, you may have a situation in your life or something in your life that is happening right now, which is making you, be more in your head and more in your mind. And we find this to happen more when we're going to sleep, or when we're not as busy, and then we distract ourselves, right? We distract ourselves and we keep ourselves busy so we don't have to think about it. But actually those thoughts are still there. We're just suppressing them. And so it's acknowledging those thoughts and where they come from and why you're having them. And a lot of the time it can be based on the situation or the things that you're going through right now, but there can actually be a root cause to those thoughts. So you may be overthinking something, but whatever it is you're overthinking could also be attached to a past experience. So if you keep thinking about yourself, and say you are downplaying yourself, you're putting yourself down, or there's something you want to achieve and you keep telling yourself you can't do it, or how do I do it this way, can I do it that way, or thinking about navigating something in your life, but then you doubt yourself, and then you think about doubting yourself, and you think about that you're not good enough. Where do those thoughts come from? They start to spiral. They might start as one or two, and they start to spiral more and more and more. And we don't accept that they're there. We try and push them away, which actually makes them come back in more full force. And your mind is showing you this for a reason. So it'll bring out more and more and more of those thoughts, and to try and show you where it comes from. And so we can figure out, actually, I'm feeling not good enough, or I'm feeling this way and I'm overthinking this situation because of a past experience, or because I've never quite felt good enough. And then you can dig into where that may come from. Now, of course, we don't want to stay in the past, so we don't want to keep looking back at the past all the time, but this can sometimes help. It can help you to understand your thoughts and understand that you are actually the creator. You are creating those thoughts. So therefore, if we can acknowledge them and accept where they come from, we can also change them and rewrite the script that we keep telling ourselves, rewrite the narrative that we keep instilling within us, whatever it is that you're overthinking, or whatever it is that you keep going over and over. Recognize it, acknowledge it, see if it comes from a different place, if there's something that maybe you need to heal or you need to work on, or there's something that you're suppressing or holding within you that you haven't quite worked on yet. Now, of course, you can do this through therapy, you can do this through holistic healing techniques. my favorite way is belief coding. It grabs a memory and it pulls the emotional charge out of it, which can help us to stop overthinking. If we know what we are overthinking about, belief coding can help you to change your belief systems. But it also brings me to my next one, right? So we can recognize our thoughts, understand where they come from. But it's also this knowing that your thoughts are attached to your emotions. So all these thoughts that you're having are bringing up a variation of emotions and of feelings. And this is when it gets really stressful. And this is when we start to feel it within our bodies, not just the overthinking in our head, but it really starts to wear us down. It can drain us. It can cause burnout. And it can actually make us quite unwell mentally and physically. And so it's noticing those emotions too. And usually we wait until the emotions are right up on the surface before we deal with it, rather than dealing with it when it's just a thought in the mind, before it starts triggering all these emotions and all these things within us. And so our thoughts are attached to our emotions. So then it brings these emotions up for you. Look at, again, where those emotions come from and why you're feeling this way, and let it out. You can ignore it all you like, it's still there. So instead of ignoring those emotions, as hard as it is, find a place that feels safe for you to release it. When we get really, really stressed, it's a buildup of cortisol. We need to release this from the body. We need to let go of it. A good cry. That's why when you have a good cry, right, it feels good afterwards. We need to let this out somehow, whether that be journaling, whether that be talking to somebody, whether that doing holistic techniques, taking that emotion out. Reiki is great for this kind of thing as well. Whatever it is for you that works for you. And sometimes when we're an overthinker, we have to go on this journey of like self-discovery, right? We have to find what works for us. What works for one person might not work for somebody else. So we have to find what works for us and a way to release our emotion in a healthy way. You might have all this pent up anger within you, and at some point you're gonna explode if you don't find a way that is right and healthy for you to let it out. We have to feel it to heal it. We have to bring these things up. So first of all, we notice the overthinking. We notice what it is we're over analyzing, and if it comes from somewhere else, if it comes from a root cause, a past experience, and then we look at the emotions that it's attached to, and we let it out and we let it go once and for all. Any forgiveness that you need to give to yourself or others, anything you need to fully accept. That's how we get through that overthinking. In life, there has to be duality. I'm just going to cover this before I go to the next one. In life, there has to be duality. We have the dark and the light, the night and the day, the air and fire, water and earth, the happiness and the sadness, the rise and the fall. What goes up must come down. We have these opposite things, and we have them everywhere in life, and you have them within your emotions. And sometimes we have to get through that darkness within us to get to our light. And I know that doesn't always feel great to hear, and it's like, why can't we just be in the light? Why can't we just feel happy and good all the time? But you'd never truly appreciate your life or appreciate those nicer feelings, those more positive and happy feelings, and that love. You'd never appreciate and respect it if you never felt the opposite end of it. So it's the understanding that, the quicker you accept a feeling, a more negative, lower vibrational feeling, the quicker you accept it and acknowledge it, the quicker you can flow into what is opposing it, what is the duality of it, right? And the only way we can fully accept it is by knowing where that feeling comes from and letting it out. And then once we've let it out, the duality of life will flow us into a new and different emotion. Third one that I want to talk about with overthinking is sometimes it could just be a decision. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily come from somewhere. It's not that we have all these emotions and built up things. We could just be thinking and overthinking something, and it's because there's a choice to make. And so if you keep thinking something over and over again, make a choice. Am I going to continue to think about something that I can't control? Or am I going to go do a meditation and regulate my nervous system? Because every time I think about this, it's throwing me off kilter and off balance. It could be that you're overthinking an actual physical decision that you have to make. Know that, yes, take your time with making that decision. Don't rush into it just because of how you're feeling emotionally. But also know that this too shall pass, right? As soon as that decision is made, that you're not going to be there for very long. And sometimes we have this overthinking coming up because there's a decision that needs to be made. But know that when that is the case, you're not going to be there forever. You're not going to stay in that zone of being in your head all the time. And then you also have to recognize, like I said with the other two, is yes, you might have a decision to make, but I believe in life we're always shown opportunities to heal. We're always shown opportunities to grow. So are you being made to make this decision right now in your life because your mind is bringing up all, in order to make this decision, it has to bring up all these thoughts and these emotions that you've been holding on to? Is it that actually what is going on in your life right now and the paths that you may have to take is actually showing you what you need to work on, what you need to heal, and what you can grow and evolve from? And something happens in life that throws us off kilter. It kind of shakes us up a little bit. So say there's something that you are overthinking, be that a relationship breakup that you're going through or a decision you need to make at work. Say like something has hit you really quickly and it's shaken you up. It's shaken you up to shake all those beliefs that you had about yourself that are simply not true to the surface, and it's showing you them right now. But what you're actually doing is you're holding on to them and you're letting them circle and cycle round, and then you're keeping yourself really busy, so you suppress them back down again. But then something else will happen in life and it'll shake you up and it'll bring all those thoughts back to the surface, all those emotions back to the surface again. So what is it that is showing you right now? What is it that you need to let go of, that you need to release? So many different ways that we can do this, like I said. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be hard, right? If you find that this particular thing that you're overthinking is, grief or guilt, or it's an emotion that you've been holding on to that you need to let go of and forgive, write a letter. Let it out in some way. It doesn't matter which way you do it, whether that be talking to someone, writing it out, having a good cry, going to the top of a mountain and screaming, going to one of those rage rooms, right? Whatever it is for you, going to do a sport or whatever it is. It needs to come out of your body. It needs to be released physically. You need to feel that emotion to let it go. And so I ask you, either analyze your mind for a second, take a step back, take a moment to analyze what is actually going on right now, because sometimes we can get so stuck in our head that we have just this tunnel vision and we're not seeing the broader picture or a bird's eye point of view. Sometimes we have to take a step out of our own life and look at it from a bird's eye point of view and go, okay, so there's these decisions that I need to make right now, but also it's showing me that these decisions I need to make are bringing up all this unworthiness that I've been taught throughout my life that actually I'm ready to let go of now, because I am worthy and I am ready to take the next step in my life. So take a moment to analyze. I hope those 3 things have helped you. Lots of love and light to you, my darlings. I hope you get over that overthinking. It can be extremely draining when we overthink and we overanalyze, but allow yourself to let it out. Maybe there's something that you need to let go. Your mindset is so important to achieving your goals, your health, your wellness. We put those things on the back burner, right? We can at times not make them a priority, but you are your priority, and your health, your mental health, your well-being should be a top priority. Have enough love and respect for yourself to make it that way before you go even deeper and even further down into that overthinking, because it's not a nice place to be, and there are people to reach out and there are people to talk to when we do get to that place. But stop it before it gets there. Remember that you have control of your thoughts. You create them. You create your thoughts, so choose to create them different. Lots of love and light to you, my darlings, and I will see you in the next video.